Hey everyone, Ryan here at Etrailer. Today on our 2022 Jeep Wrangler 4xe, we're going to be showing you how to install the Curt custom fit vehicle wiring harness. Before we do that though, let's take a minute and check this out. So for those of you that plan on pulling a trailer around or maybe have a light up accessory, you're going to need a way to power up those lights, right? And that's where a kit like this is going to come into play. It has the standard 4-way flat trailer connector, super common on those smaller and medium-sized trailers. You'll get all of your basic functions, you know, your turn signals, your brake lights, and your tail lights. As far as mounting your wiring up, you got a couple options. You can do it like we did today and just loop it around the safety chain opening, you know, to keep it secure that way if you want, which I don't think looks bad by any means. Guess you could always get a piece of wire loom, put it there too to help it blend in. Or if you're looking for something a little more fixed, you could always pick up what's called the no 4-way flat bracket, and mount this up and put your connector through there. Have something like that going on. So either way is just fine and totally up to you. Other than that, you know, if you're trying to power up the lights on your trailer, then this will get the job done for you. As far as the installation goes, it's really not too complicated by any means. It is a little time consuming though, just having to route wires from the back up into the engine compartment. But thankfully on the Jeep, you know, the frame rail is wide open, so I was actually able to utilize that, keep the wire protected and look good too, right? Because you can't see it. So I'll show you a trick that you can use to help you out with that. And something else worth mentioning too, the main wiring harness starts over here on the driver's side and you have to route a wire to the passenger side. The wires, you know, kind of just give you enough length to be able to do that, so keep that in mind when you're going through that. But it reaches and I didn't have any issues, so you shouldn't either. With that said though, you know, if this is something you don't want to mess with, you can always use our dealer locator network, and that can help you find a shop in your neighborhood that can do this for you. If you're going to do it yourself, hang around, we'll go ahead and get going on it now. To begin our installation, we're going to be here at the back of our Jeep, and we need to remove the tail lights. And so in order to do that, just inside of the vehicle, there will be a panel and a fastener that we can remove. Here's that little panel. You can just take a flathead screwdriver, pop that out, and that'll expose a plastic fastener in there. And take a 10mm socket, and we'll pull that out. We're able to just grab our tail light now, pull straight back on it. That will release it, and then we can disconnect it. You'll have a red tab there. Just pull that back, and then you can push down on the middle to separate the two ends. We'll set our light off to the side. Do the same thing to get the passenger one removed. You can grab your trailer wiring harness now, and the side that has the yellow and brown wires, that's going to get plugged in over here on the driver's side. So just these two ends match up. Lock that down, and what we'll do, I'm gonna set all this down here for a sec, is take the green T connector as well as the 4-way flat connector, and we'll push it down through the taillight pocket. To where it'll drop down to the bottom side of our Jeep. We'll kind of just let this stuff hang for now. Now you can grab the big bundle of power wire that they give you and drop that on down through as well to the bottom side, and just leave yourself about a couple foot up here to work with. With that power wire, we can make our connections here. And so you strip the end back, give the wire a twist, and this is how we're going to make all of our electrical connections, whether it be a butt connector or a ring terminal. But you slide the bare end over the wire, crimp it down, and this is going to get hooked up to the black wire coming out of our converter box. Do the same thing. And I chose to upgrade to these heat shrink type butt connectors. The ends seal up, just help protect against corrosion a little bit better. So you can always grab these here if you want. The ones that come with the wiring will work just fine though. Just make sure to tape them up good once you've completed the connection. But to seal these heat shrinks up, come back with a heat gun and shrink them down. We can mount up the converter box now. I'm just going to use the included two-sided sticky tape. Make sure you clean this off real good with some rubbing alcohol, let it dry. Pop that on, and I'm going to mount this just on the bottom and side of the taillight pocket here. I cleaned off that surface real well, and being that it's kind of buried in there, I'll go ahead, put this in place and show you how it turned out. Here's where I ended up putting the converter box. Really nothing to it. And where the wires kind of go up and over that little metal lip, I took a piece of rubber hose and cut it in half just to have something over there, you know, since the wires are kind of close to it. You can tape them up real good or just give an extra layer of protection for them. Something definitely I'd recommend doing. We have this white wire with the pre-attached ring terminal on it. That's going to be a ground. And so I have a self-tapping screw that they give you. I'm just going to put this right here on this thick piece of metal. Now we can grab our tail light and plug the T-connector end into that connection, lock it down, and then just reinstall our light opposite way that we removed it. Underneath the vehicle, we started to route our green T-connector wire and our 4-way flat wire. And when you're doing this, be conscious of the green T-connector. The wire is just long enough to kind of reach. So think about that when you're routing. And you always want to avoid hot moving parts when you're routing wires as well. But the 4-way and the green wire just kind of go up and over. And then they're on top of this brace. So I just use a zip tie every now and again. Keep it secure. The 4-way flat I just dropped right down through here and then attached it to the hitch using the dust cover. And that green T-connector just continues along on top of the frame. And this is where it ends up. But what we can do, I'll lower the car down a little bit and you can reach up and kind of push this connector up into the passenger side taillight pocket. On our passenger side, I pushed our connector up through that opening there. And again, since it kind of goes close to this metal, I put some loom on the wire just to help out. Plugged it in to our factory harness, just like we did on the driver's side. And now with all that hooked up, we can reinstall our light. As far as the power wire goes, this is it right here. And kind of where it comes around, it goes from around this metal. I put a little loom on there just for extra layer of protection, but it runs through here and I put it in the frame rail, all right, that opening, and pushed it pretty much through the frame for the entire length of our vehicle. The power wire is in the frame, and every now and again, you know, you can reach in and grab it and zip tie it up. Something that you can do too if you're having a hard time getting it all the way through, you can use a pull wire. This is a piece of tubing, but a metal coat hanger, if you straighten it out, will work fine. And you can run this through one of these openings in the frame, you know, and grab it where the next one is or whatever the case is. And then tape your wire to it and feed it through that way. So if you're having a hard time doing it, that's always something you can do. So it just runs all the way through here, right here. Right there is where that wire comes out. And it goes, it might be a little tricky to see, but it goes right up into the engine compartment up through this way. In the engine compartment, this is where our wire comes up, and we have to kind of run it over to our passenger side where our battery is. So I just run it along through here, along through there. And what I've done is taken the included fuse holder and a butt connector, attach a fuse holder to the power wire, one end, and crimped on one of the ring terminals on the other end of it. To hook this up to power, make sure the fuse is not installed just yet, but we have all these different posts to choose from. Sometimes these empty ones will have a nut on it from the factory, other times not. I happen to have a nut that has the same thread, so I'm going to use it, but if you don't have that, you can always just remove this nut, put the ring terminal over that post and tighten that one back down. It'll work exactly the same. But in our case, we'll slide it over that one there. And get it completely secured. Now that everything is connected, you can take the included fuse and put it into the holder. With everything all hooked up now, it's a good idea to test the wiring and make sure that it's working properly. I like to use a tester like this as opposed to just hooking up to a trailer. And I say it because if your trailer happens to have any issues, it could mislead you, thinking it's something you did wrong on the vehicle side. But we'll try our left turn signal, our right turn signal. We'll hit our brakes and turn on our running lights. With everything working the way it should, that'll finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt custom fit vehicle wiring harness on our 2022 Jeep Wrangler 4xe.